does this clogged up sink and your swollen prostate have in common? If you're thinking that both the sink and your prostate can't drain out liquid, that is part of the answer. But there's also something much scarier going on here, because experts at Harvard, Georgetown University, and USC are now sounding the alarm on a medical discovery that is plaguing the majority of men with prostate problems. After realizing that just like sitting water becomes a cesspool for fungi and mold, the same thing is happening inside the bladder of men whose enlarged prostates make it difficult to pee, leading to something they're calling moldy prostate, meaning your prostate is being coated in a special type of mold, one that is completely different from the mold you see on your food, but extremely threatening, until it becomes nearly impossible for you to ever enjoy a normal, steady stream when you go to the bathroom, and your ability to get an erection is slowly eroded until it gets utterly destroyed. Hey, it's Mike Dorsey here, and if you feel the urgent need to urinate several times during the day, or it takes you even 30 seconds of effort before any pee comes out, or if you wake up during the night needing to go, then you need to watch this video right away, because in the next 3 minutes, I'll reveal all the details of this terrifying new research, including the smoking gun mega study, where a particular type of mold was found to be the real culprit behind prostate problems in a staggering 80% of men. Yes, that means 8 in every 10 men with prostate problems have a moldy prostate right as we speak. And it's not because of alcohol, genetics, getting old, caffeine, or any of the other tired old culprits that your clueless doctor loves to blame. And much more importantly, I'm also going to show you how you can fix your swollen prostate fast so that it quickly shrinks back to its normal, healthy size, and once again works like it did when you were in your 20s, when you never even had to think about taking a leak because it was all so natural and easy. By the time you're done watching this video, you'll know exactly how to regain control of your bladder, and you'll never again need to stand over the toilet in frustration, waiting and praying for a few drops to come out. Instead, you'll find yourself enjoying a rocket stream flow every time you do go. And you'll do it effortlessly, free from the agony of always feeling like you're holding it in, the frustration that comes from feeling like others see you as some grumpy and irritable old man, and the embarrassment of trying to explain to your friends and family why you've got to hit the john yet again. In short, you'll get your life back, enjoying night after night of restful sleep because you're no longer waking up at odd hours, feeling like there's this unbearable pressure on your bladder, while also ending your ED and performance issues. And not only is all this possible, but you can achieve it much faster than you could ever imagine too. And it's all thanks to a bizarre prostate shrinking candy hack that was first shown to me by one of the world's leading experts on viruses and bacteria out in Atlanta, after my prostate problems had led to the most humiliating moment of my life, destroying my career as a commercial pilot and nearly ruining my marriage too. All it requires is that you chew a very special type of candy once per day, and you'll be amazed at how rapidly and easily you can restore the health of your prostate, bladder, and entire body, just like over 119,000 men have already done. Like Billy D in Wichita, Kansas, who says,
"I'm shocked that there aren't more people using this hack. For me personally, it made all the difference. I went from always feeling like I had to go to completely forgetting like I'd ever even had any problems with my prostate in the first place. Now I'm back to living a normal life, and I couldn't be happier."
I'm the biggest skeptic in the world. The only reason I watched a video and tried what you shared is because I was desperate. It works so insanely well, it's still hard for me to believe. But it really did work. My pee problems are gone, I'm sleeping through the night, my mood's better. I'm like my old self again. Thank you.
Finally, I could take my mind off the need to pee. Just knowing I can go golfing with my buddies again without secretly counting down the holes until there's another restroom. Or be intimate with my wife without worrying that the need to pee is going to stop me from being able to perform. Really, every aspect of my life is so much better now because of what you shared in the video.
Those are just a few of the stories that are coming in every day. So let's get started. Like I mentioned, my name is Mike Dorsey, and for the last 27 years, I've had the honor of being a commercial pilot for one of America's best-known airlines. Ever since I was a kid, the only thing that I wanted to do was fly. So after high school, I joined the Air Force, where I proudly served for 8 years. Then I made the move to commercial and never looked back. flying millions of miles, enjoying a great career, and being blessed to build an amazing family along the way. I always counted myself as one of the luckiest guys on earth. But then, a few years ago, everything changed when my prostate problems began rearing their ugly head, and they nearly ruined both my marriage and my career. Now, at first, it was just a bunch of seemingly little things, like I would go to pee before bed, then I'd lay down, kiss my wife Susie goodnight, and turn off the lights. But I'd find I couldn't fall asleep because it felt like I still needed to pee. But even though I really felt like I needed to go many times, not even a drop would come out for minutes. And because I didn't want Susie to worry about me, sometimes I wouldn't get up and I'd just lay there, squirming in the bed, waiting to fall asleep, only to wake up in the dead of the night and have to go through all of it again. And the worst part is that it completely wrecked my sleep, and I was tired every single day. And if you're dealing with prostate problems right now, then maybe you already know just how brutal never getting a good night's sleep can be. You wake up each morning and your body is slow. Your brain only feels half awake. It's like there's this fog surrounding you. You just don't feel 100% present throughout the day. That's how it was for me, at least. And while I knew right away that my issues were due to my prostate, since these were all pretty much classic symptoms, at first I thought that since I wasn't that old anyway, maybe I could make little lifestyle changes and the problem would go away. So I tried to drink more water during the day to stay hydrated, and then not drink any liquids for a few hours before bed. I cut back on the caffeine, even though I was exhausted. I bought natural supplements with stuff like stinging nettles in them, and I even quit alcohol altogether, even though I'd never been a big drinker anyways. But nothing I tried helped at all. In fact, my prostate problems just grew worse. And soon, it wasn't just at night that I felt the constant need to pee. It was every waking hour of every damn day. Out running errands with Susie, at a movie, at dinner with friends, or with my son at a baseball game. I constantly had this overwhelming urge to go. But whenever I did head to the bathroom, I'd just stand there, with my hand pushed to the wall, praying for gravity to do its job, and for even a little splash of pee to come out. What's even worse is I was getting old right in front of my beloved wife. Now that I'd given up on trying to hide it, being grumpy and irritable all the time, because I wasn't sleeping well. Unable to complete even the simplest of household chores. You see, Susie, my wife, had always looked at me as a real alpha male, which I loved, but now I felt like I went from Air Force hero to dusty old grandpa in just a couple of months. And she had a front row seat to my spectacular decline. Not only that, but my sex life took a major hit because of all this too. See, within a few months of my pee problem starting, it was like my libido and ability to get an erection just fell off a cliff. I mean, for one thing, it's hard to be horny or excited about sex when you constantly feel like you gotta take a piss. But then even when I did want to make love to my wife, I was having more and more trouble getting and holding an erection. And while Susie told me it was okay and that she didn't mind, I could see the letdown in her eyes. A deep sense of disappointment that I knew was caused by my inability to satisfy her. Now, of course, I went to see my doctor and he prescribed me a bunch of alpha blockers, but no matter what I tried, Eroxidol, Cardora, Flomax, Proscar, Avodar, you name it, the drugs didn't seem to help, which I found out is actually common because their success rate is super low, which means a lot of guys end up just like me and you, where we're popping these pills and losing hope. And that's when my doc started talking to me about minimally invasive surgeries, which he cheerfully mentioned would cost me from anywhere from $7,000 to over $20,000, before adding that they weren't guaranteed to work. And that if the surgeon screws up, there is of course a minor risk of complications. When I looked into what those minor complications were though, I was shocked to discover that not only do a lot of these procedures involve shoving a metal wire down your penis, or cutting into your prostate, or even tying your prostate up into knots, but when the surgeon screws up, your semen can actually flow backwards into your bladder instead of out through your penis during ejaculation. And that's if you can still ejaculate at all. Because another terrifying complication of those minimally invasive options is permanent impotence, and you never get hard again. I don't know about you, but that really scared the crap out of me. Yet nothing else I tried was working, so I was at least considering going under the knife. And that's when things went from bad to worse, as my prostate problems led to the most humiliating moment any man can experience in his life. This next part is so damn embarrassing that I can't believe I'm going to share it, but it's also what led me to discover the real reason why most men deal with enlarged prostates, no matter what lifestyle changes they try. along with a shockingly simple prostate shrinking candy chew hack that you can use to quickly reclaim control of your bladder, so that you can once again go 6 hours or more without feeling like you need to pee, even if you're drinking plenty of liquids each day, while enjoying an effortlessly powerful flow whenever you do head to the bathroom, without prescription drugs, surgical knives, herbal supplements, or a single visit to the doctor. With this unbelievably simple hack, you can eliminate the urgent need to pee during the day. Enjoy night after night of deep, restful, and uninterrupted sleep while putting an end to your bedroom performance issues forever, and even enjoy fuller and more powerful erections, so that you can get back to being the strong, powerful man that you always were. Here's what happened. You see, it probably won't come as a shock to hear that as a commercial airline pilot, always feeling like I needed to pee was a big problem. It scared the crap out of me, because even though 90% of flying these days is done by the plane's computers, every time I'm up in the air, I'm responsible for the lives of hundreds of passengers. There's just no margin for error, and you could never be distracted. But if you've got to pee all the time, it's pretty damn hard to stay focused on anything. And because that constant feeling of needing to pee really worried me, I did the unthinkable and decided to try wearing one of those adult diapers while I was in the cockpit. Not because I was planning on pissing myself, but because I thought maybe it would reduce my anxiety about needing to pee and help me to focus, since I know that I could go if I really needed to. And if you're judging me because of what I just shared, I get it. I can feel my face getting hotter as I admit this, but that's actually not the most humiliating part. The worst part is what happened next. We were doing a cross-country route from New York to San Diego, and conditions were great. The ride was smooth, there was no major weather forecasted for our whole flight. So about halfway through, without a bump in the sky, I let the flight attendant know I needed to use the lavatory. Then, once she'd blocked off the aisle for me, I exited the cockpit to pee, where, once inside, I pulled down my pants and that ridiculous diaper I had on, and I stood over the toilet trying to pee. Like usual though, nothing came out. It felt like I had to go so bad, but there wasn't a drop after 5 minutes. And I was just about to give up when suddenly our plane hit this absolutely monstrous patch of turbulence that seemed to come out of nowhere. The whole cabin was rattling violently, and knowing I was needed in the cockpit, I pulled up my diaper and was just reaching for my pants when bam, we hit another patch of chop that was even worse than the first. And that's when, to my absolute horror, I was thrown into the lavatory door and it swung wide open. To this day, I have no idea how that happened, because I swear I locked the door behind me, but suddenly, I was left standing there with my pants around my ankles and this diaper around my waist, staring right at the two gorgeous flight attendants who had been waiting for me to exit the lavatory. I'll never forget the shocked look on their faces for as long as I live, how their jaws dropped and their eyes went wide, while trying to pretend like they hadn't seen anything. And meanwhile, I couldn't utter a single word. I swear, I almost choked back tears. It was so awful, and all I could do was pull my pants up and run back to the cockpit. But needless to say, it was truly the most humiliating moment of my life, and things only got worse as word quickly spread throughout the airline about what had happened. My co-pilots knew about it and would crack these not-so-subtle jokes about how there was a baby in the cockpit. The flight attendants who'd looked at me with respect now either avoided eye contact with me or treated me like a feeble old man, and before long, the incident made its way up to my bosses. And what was even worse than being forced to open up to them about my prostate problems was that they put me on administrative leave so I could fix this problem. It was like they pitied me, felt sorry for me, and that made me feel so weak, like I was some sickly old-timer. It was just awful, although I couldn't really blame the airline for grounding me, because honestly, it was probably the right decision. I mean, what else could they do? Suddenly, though, I found myself with a whole lot more time on my hands, and not knowing what to do with myself. I began spending a lot of my time on my computer, visiting various aviation forums and chatting with other pilots. And it was on one of those forums that I saw a strange, kind of gross article that would ultimately change everything, leading me to realize that the real cause of enlarged prostates is not what our doctors or other so-called experts tell us, but something that's much more terrifying and dangerous. So let me go ahead and explain. I was reading a post in the forums from a fellow pilot, and he included a link to this article talking about how scientists at the prestigious University of Reading in the UK had tested more than 250 restroom sinks and found that these giant reservoirs for mold in every single drain, leaving anyone who doesn't have a strong immune system prone to infections and diseases. Like I said, pretty gross, right? Now, the pilot on the forum had shared the link as part of a larger conversation about the millions of bacteria, fungus, and other germs on airplanes that can easily infect and make all of us sick, despite the HEPA air filters, cleaning crews, and everything else that airlines do to try and make flights sanitary. However, no matter if you've never set foot on an airplane or if you are a frequent flyer, you're going to want to hear what I'm going to say next, as I'm going to show you not only what is causing your prostate to swell as we speak, but also how to stop it almost immediately. You see, looking through this article, my eyes were immediately drawn to a quote from one of the scientists who had performed the study. It isn't a big surprise to find fungi in a warm, wet environment, but sinks have thus far been overlooked as potential reservoirs of these microorganisms. As I read that part, a really bizarre question popped into my mind, which is that since our urinary tracts are also these warm and wet environments, can they become colonized by fungus and mold too? I know, it's gross to even think about. But hear me out for a minute. Our urinary tract is basically just our plumbing, right? You've got your kidneys, bladder, prostate, urethra, and your penis, all connected by this tubing. So, after doing some more research, I discovered one odd but crucial fact about men's bladders. You see, essentially, when you go to urinate, you do not fully empty your bladder. There can be up to 3 to 5 ounces of urine left over. Usually bladders hold 13.5 to 20 ounces of urine. So that can mean a quarter of the urine still remains in the bladder. So you may have more residual pee left in your bladder than you think. It's just how our body normally works, no matter your age or how healthy you are. Now, this residual urine is the perfect wet and warm ground for fungi to take hold. Just like standing water in a clogged sink becomes infected with mold, germs, and bacteria, the same happens to the standing pee in your bladder, causing infections, triggering inflammation, and making your prostate become more and more swollen. You might say, but I know someone older who doesn't have prostate problems. Well, some people are just lucky enough that they're not walking around with a septic tank and somehow their bladder manages to eliminate most of the pee. But for the vast majority of men, especially for those that hold on to more of their pee, it can easily be invaded by fungi, giving them the prostate problems they have now. Of course, this is such a vicious cycle because the more swollen your prostate becomes, the harder it is to eliminate urine. Therefore, there's even more standing pee where fungi and bacteria can multiply and spread until the mold takes over your entire urinary tract, climbing to your kidneys and causing all sorts of infections. As I continue digging deeper and deeper, I found article after article linking fungi and prostate issues. And since I'd never heard of this before, I was surprised to see that it's actually pretty common for fungal infections to cause your prostate to become enlarged. And in women, these manifest as yeast infections or urinary tract infections, which are also caused by fungal mold. Unlike a yeast infection or a urinary tract infection, all the medical research said that fungal swelling in the male's prostate isn't some short-term issue. It can last for decades, because unlike women's plumbing, which is shorter, your prostate rarely drains completely of liquid. In fact, in one medical study, I found that was published in the Journal of Urology case reports, they talked about a man who had been struggling with an enlarged prostate for over 20 years. He wasn't responding to any traditional medications or drugs, even though they had tried all kinds of stuff, including countless unpleasant rectal exams and invasive endoscopies where cameras were fed into his intestines. And then the doctors finally realized his swollen prostate was due to fungus, which they said is why nothing else had ever worked. And then I saw another report from another medical journal where it was almost the exact same thing. An elderly man underwent surgery for his enlarged prostate, but it didn't work. And it was only after doctors realized the real cause of his swollen prostate was fungus that they were able to help him. I was shocked, but what was even more interesting was that in the numerous studies that I found, scientists kept saying how cases of fungal swelling had been increasing significantly in recent years. That seemed quite odd to me, so I kept digging even more. And that's when I came upon a smoking gun study that absolutely blew my mind. You see, in this study, which was published in the ultra-prestigious Central European Journal of Urology, medical doctors took 1,000 men who had enlarged prostates and who hadn't responded to traditional big pharma drugs like alpha blockers and put them on a very specific antifungal regimen that was designed to flush fungus from their urinary tract. And guess what? Within just 4 weeks, a staggering 80% of the men had seen a significant improvement in their prostatitis, meaning there was less swelling and they could pee much more freely and easily. Isn't that wild? This really goes to show how big of a deal these fungal infections are, which is important because during my research, I also saw how some doctors try and downplay them or say they are rare. But if that was the case, then why did a staggering 80% of men see an improved prostate after an antifungal regimen was given, but not when they were given prostate drugs like FlowMax? I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that prostate health is already a $31 billion per year market in the US, or that the market is expected to grow to $48.9 billion by 2026, or the fact that Big Pharma loves big profits more than anything else. But anyways, as I read further into that study with 1,000 people, that's when it all came together, because the scientist who did that study went on to say, Candida organisms are very well equipped for colonization and invasion of the urinary tract, and little is currently known about the regulating factors for Candida virulence. Candida? That really caught my attention, because I'd been hearing about Candida everywhere in the news lately, and I knew that Candida was a type of fungus that's sometimes responsible for all kinds of nasty stuff in our bodies, like low energy, mood swings, bad sleep, and trouble losing weight. But I'd never thought that Candida could also be the real cause behind my swollen prostate. When I thought about it though, it made so much sense. Because, what happens when you've got any infection? It doesn't matter if we're talking about an eye infection, a tooth infection, or even a nail infection. There's swelling and even sometimes burning. And what happens when you've got prostate issues? Your prostate swells, and sometimes it even burns or hurts to pee. I also realized that if all these studies were right, and prostate issues are actually fungal issues, it explains why, for so many of us guys, our prostate problems seem to come on so suddenly, where it's like life is normal one day, and then the next night you suddenly find that you're waking up every few hours to pee, and then the feeling of needing to go never leaves you. It haunts you every hour of every day, because that's how infections work. They come on fast, but can be hard to beat, which is something anyone who's ever had a fungal infection in one of their toenails knows all too well. And while recent headlines keep talking about a new, fast-spreading strain of Candida, as I started reading more, I saw that strains of Candida had been spreading like wildfire for the last several decades. And one of the big reasons why was the massive overprescription of antibiotics that you've probably already heard of. And what was even more concerning was I saw how more and more antibiotics have been getting pumped into our foods here in the US over the last 30 years by big food companies who are looking for ways to make crops more pest resistant and to give their foods a longer shelf life. And this even includes fruits and vegetables that are supposedly organic, along with meat that is advertised as being antibiotic free. And I was even more disturbed to discover that scientists keep finding traces of antibiotics in our drinking water too. No matter if that water came from the tap, or was bottled, or was drawn from a well in a very remote and rural area. It's all extremely alarming. We've got all this research saying how the overuse of antibiotics in America is leading to a never-before-seen explosion of fungal infections. And all this research saying how these fungal infections are often the surprising root cause of our swollen prostates too. And yet, what are big food companies doing? They're pumping the crops, animals, and groundwater that we eat and drink chock full of these same antibiotics. So is it any wonder more men are dealing with prostate issues today than ever before? Hell, even Harvard is on the record saying our enlarged prostates are a major growing problem. And so, after reading all of this, I was really shocked, because I definitely never thought that my swollen prostate could be a fungal issue. But I was also hopeful, which I hadn't been for quite some time. Because if the real cause of our prostate issues isn't due to us getting old or the other lifestyle factors that experts love to blame, but rather this sinister fungal mold that's spreading through our urinary tract and causing our prostates to swell, then didn't this mean that if we were able to flush the fungus out of our plumbing, we'd be able to fix our prostate issues pretty fast? And maybe even for good? Fortunately, I know just who to call. My friend, Dr. Jacques. Jacques is a highly accomplished medical doctor who I met a few years back when I helped him get home to Atlanta in time for his daughter's first dance recital. After a string of flight cancellations left him stranded in Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport, I just helped out as a one-time thing. But because Jacques lived in the same city as me and was always being asked to give lectures and presentations to other doctors and scientists all across the country, we kept running into each other at the airport, or he'd been on one of the routes I was flying. So, over time, we became pals. And while I didn't know all the details about what Jacques did, I did remember that he was an expert in germs, bacteria, and infectious disease here in Atlanta. so I figured he'd be the right person to ask about all of this. Well, fortunately, Jacques picked up the phone right away when I called him, and after a few moments of pleasantries, I jumped right in, telling him about all the research I'd been reading about fungus and enlarged prostates, and asking him if I was crazy or if it made sense. To my immense relief, Jacques told me that I wasn't crazy. He noticed more and more scientific studies were coming out about this in the last few years, and he said that the whole scientific community was growing very alarmed about the spread of fungi like Candida, and that is shockingly easy for our bodies to become colonized by fungus too. Candida is everywhere these days, Jacques told me. Basically, at this point, it's really hard not to be exposed to Candida, Jacques concluded. And Jacques said that once it gets inside you, it's bad news because the fungus is very good at spreading. It gets into your bloodstream and it circulates to your kidneys. And as you may know, your kidneys are like the gateway to your urinary tract. And just like you guessed, that's one of the warmest and wettest places in your whole body. So the fungus thrives in places like your bladder and your prostate too, until essentially your whole urinary tract can be colonized by this disgusting fungal mold. Hearing Dr. Jacques say all of this, it felt good to know that my ideas really made sense. But what I really wanted to know was how I could get rid of the fungus, flushing it from my urinary tract and the rest of my body. I asked Jacques if there was a prescription I should get from my doctor, or if any of these antifungal diets I'd read about online were legitimate. But Jacques said, not really, because while the most commonly prescribed drug for fungal infection was something called fluconazole, a big new study recently found that this drug can actually make fungi reproduce and spread more quickly. So while it might help to kill some fungus at first, before long, the fungus just starts to reproduce again, even more in order to compensate for the loss caused by this med. Plus, fluconazole can make Candida even more resistant to drugs and antibiotics too. Jacques also said that while he was sure most of the antifungal diets and cleanses you find online were made by well-meaning people, very few of them are actually based on any science, and they would most likely just be a waste of time and money. Plus, none of these diets or any of these drugs were focused on male prostate health and addressing the specific kind of mold that causes your prostate to swell up, Jacques said. So what can I do then? I asked. And Jacques said he'd have to think about it and then get back to me. After that, I didn't hear from Jacques for over a month, and I got really worried that maybe he had gotten too busy to help me, or that perhaps there was nothing that could be done, and that maybe I'd be doomed to live with a swollen prostate forever. But then, one day in early April, I looked down at my phone and I saw I'd missed 3 calls from Jacques in the previous hour. And when I rang him back and asked what was up, Jacques told me in a breathless voice that he thought he had something that might be able to help me and asked if we could meet at his office that afternoon. Of course, I agreed. And when I got there, I was surprised to see that Jacques had a huge smile on his face. I barely had a chance to say hello before he started talking a mile a minute. Okay, so I couldn't stop thinking about this moldy prostate stuff after our first phone call, he said, and how to solve it. What I realized is that it's actually a 2-part process, and that's where I think a lot of people get tripped up. First, you gotta figure out how to target the fungus that's inside your urinary tract, right? Then, you've actually gotta kill the fungus. But you don't wanna use antibiotics or drugs that are going to kill all the good stuff in your body while you're doing this, since that'll just make the fungus come back even stronger than before. And some strains of Candida are already resistant to antibiotics and other drugs anyway. So what options does that leave us with? In the last month, I've looked at over 5,000 molecules, compounds, antioxidants, and amino acids. Natural ones, pharmaceutical ones, you name it. And while most of them were a waste of time, there were a few that were really promising. And that's what I want to talk to you about. I told Jacques that I was all ears, and here's what he told me. The first compound is called Graminex. It's a special form of flower pollen extract that's only made by one laboratory in the entire United States, and it offers a full spectrum of the nutrients that are found inside pollen, amino acids, phytosterols, fatty acids, flavonoids, carotenoids, vitamins, and enzymes, but without any of the allergens that make some people respond negatively to pollen. In one big study I found that was published in a prestigious journal called BMC Urology, researchers saw that when this extract was given to 590 men, 83% of them saw their prostate size become significantly reduced, while another major human trial out of the University of Mississippi found that Graminex improved prostate symptoms by 75% on average for the men who took it. Those are pretty impressive numbers, but of course, the question becomes why? Like, why did that happen? Well, check this out. In another major study out of Turkey, a team of scientists scientists tested this pollen extract against 40 different strains of Candida. And do you know what they found? It was effective in destroying every single strain, including the strain responsible for a swollen, enlarged prostate. Even the drug-resistant types of Candida that traditional meds are powerless against. It's pretty wild. But knowing what we know now, it makes sense that something super antifungal would also be really good at reducing a swollen prostate too, while also freeing you from a life of constant, unplanned bathroom trips and the embarrassment and frustration that goes with them, along with the sleepless nights where you keep waking up because you've got to go so bad, but then you struggle to even get a steady stream to come out. And anyways, that's just the first compound. Next up, we've got something called fisetin, which is this powerful antifungal compound found in foods like strawberries, apples, kiwi, kale, and cucumbers. But you'd have to eat an ungodly amount of these fruits and vegetables, which is why Dr. Jacques turned to a highly concentrated version of fisetin. For example, in one 2015 study published in the top-tier medical journal Molecules, I found out that this version of fisetin was just as good as prescription drugs at killing Candida. And another study published in the Journal of Applied Microbiology found that a highly concentrated fisetin extract decreased Candida levels by 25% upon contact, and that the longer this concentrated version of fisetin was exposed to Candida, the more of the fungus it killed, meaning it worked fast, and it worked for a long time. Meanwhile, you've got all these studies showing how fisetin protects the cells in your prostate and bladder too, which again, I don't think is a coincidence, considering that's where Candida likes to hang out, in warm, wet places. So I'm really excited about this compound, because just imagine ridding your plumbing of all that fungus. The way the swelling would disappear, you wouldn't feel that sense of pressure coming from your bladder ever again, and you'd be able to start enjoying a steady, powerful stream every time you did need to go too. And then there's also a lot of research showing that when concentrated fisetin is combined with another plant extract called luteolin, they're able to destroy the disgusting, sticky layer of biofilm that Candida loves to hide in, which makes the fungus even easier to kill. For sure, Jacques was giving me a lot of science, but everything made sense. At least in theory. More than anything though, what I wanted was to just get my job back, to fix the broken relationship with my wife, to reclaim my peace of mind and my sanity. So I urged Jacques to continue. As he put it, there was one more kind of exotic compound, and that's monolaurin, which is found in coconut oil. And the reason I say it's exotic is because researchers have a really hard time measuring how much monolaurin is inside of any single coconut, which is why you really only get the benefits from this ingredient when you consume it as a special extract, because when you do, it can have some really amazing benefits in your body. Scientists at the University of Southern California in Los Angeles have found that not only does monolaurin kill Candida within 3 hours of contact, but it also destroys their colonies too, going scorched earth on the bad guys. And the Centers of Disease Control have even found that it can destroy the DNA of over 14 different types of viruses upon contact too, which is a pretty amazing added perk, and really shows you how powerful monolaurin is. Because with this compound being added to our list here, now, not only can you shrink your prostate and get back to having normal, predictable, and hassle-free bathroom trips, but your immunity against future infections will be boosted a ton as well. And that includes fungal infections that make your prostate become enlarged in the first place. And then, finally, the last two antifungal ingredients on the doctor's list were oregano and grapeseed extract. And I know these are a lot less exotic than the ones I just mentioned, but I'll be damned if there's not a whole lot of research proving how effective they are against Candida. Dating all the way back to 2001, there was this big study from Georgetown University Medical Center which found that the right dosage of oregano could completely inhibit the growth of Candida. And a 2018 study found that oregano was roughly 150% more effective than the prescription antifungals at killing Candida. And meanwhile, when it comes to grapeseed extract, a huge 2019 study out of Japan found that it was able to completely eliminate Candida's biofilm within 5 minutes. And remember, biofilm is like the fungus's protective layer, and that's just one of several studies. Plus, sure enough, there's a ton of scientific research that says both oregano and grapeseed extract can help reduce a swollen prostate as well. So there was Graminex, fisetin, luteolin, monolaurin, oregano, and grapeseed extract. And while the doctor was convinced these ingredients alone would absolutely destroy any type of Candida fungus that was in my urinary tract at that moment, he thought we should take things one step further too. Because his guess was that if you do destroy the fungus, then you're likely going to find that some of the more traditional herbs that are supposed to help with your prostate are probably a lot more effective, like the plant saw palmetto, for example. Everyone knows that's supposed to help with your prostate, right? The reason why people don't get such great results with saw palmetto in the real world, though, is because if your prostate and urinary tract are colonized with fungus, then saw palmetto can't work like it's supposed to. Once that fungal mold is gone, though, it really can work a lot better and actually make peeing free and easy for you, instead of some big struggle. And then, same thing with Mawara too, which is a plant from the Amazon that gets added to a lot of ED supplements. There's a lot of really good research showing that it helps with your prostate and can help give you super strong and powerful erections. But just like saw palmetto, the reason most people who try it don't get great results is because if your whole urinary tract is riddled with fungus like Candida, it's probably impacting your body's ability to get hard. And once the fungus is gone, Mawara can really help you a lot more. And then finally, one really interesting ingredient Dr. Jacques wanted me to know about is something called vinitrox. It's this trademark extract that comes from grapes that are grown in French vineyards and apples grown in small batch orchards. And it's got all of these awesome health benefits like giving men more stamina and energy. And it's been shown to improve blood flow and circulation by up to 43% in clinical trials. More importantly, the way vinitrox improves blood flow and circulation is by boosting nitric oxide levels in the body. And by the way, nitric oxide is super critical for getting erections, so that's cool. But the real reason vinitrox deserves to be added to the list is because when it's combined with the other ingredients, it should speed up blood circulation and deliver all of the Candida-killing compounds right to your urinary tract, where they can go to work cleansing your kidneys, your bladder, and your prostate. And because it could do all this, Dr. Jacques was confident that I could fix my prostate issues really, really fast. When he finished telling me everything about every single ingredient, my mind was racing. Truthfully, I felt a little overwhelmed because he just shared a ton of different compounds with me and a whole bunch of science, and I wasn't sure where to start, or how I could buy all of those, or how I would need to combine them together, or if this would mean spending hundreds of dollars and swallowing dozens of pills each day. But then, almost as if he was reading my mind, Jacques pulled out a small Ziploc bag that had a few dozen of these tablets, and the smile on his face grew even bigger as he did. "Is this what I think it is?" I asked Jacques. "Yep," he said. "I knew that you'd probably get overloaded when I shared all of this with you. So I ordered all the ingredients, put them into the right dosage, and had our lab go ahead and compound a few dozen for you. So what do you say, want to give it a try?" Of course I did. So I immediately took one of those tablets out of the bag and popped it into my mouth right then and there. "Chew it, don't swallow it," Jacques told me, "like a candy. That'll make it get absorbed into your bloodstream much faster, so it reaches your urinary tract system right away." So that's what I did. And I found the tablet had a sweet, minty flavor to it and tasted surprisingly good. Then I let Jacques draw some blood so we could test it for Candida levels, and we agreed to meet back at his office once a week for the next month. That way we could keep doing labs and see if the Candida levels were going down, and I could let him know whether or not the tablets were making a difference. I gotta tell you though, after the first 3 days of trying out these prostate shrinking candies Jacques had made for me, I wasn't noticing much of a difference. Like maybe I had to pee a little less often during the day, but I was still struggling to urinate most of the times that I went to the bathroom. And I was still waking up in the middle of the night with this intense need to go, which made me really nervous. Maybe this won't work for me, I thought. Maybe we were wrong. Maybe it's not fungus. Maybe I'm screwed. Those were the doubts that rushed through my head. But because Jacques had made such an extraordinary effort to help me, I stuck to the plan. And thank God that I did. Because on the 6th day of chewing those little candies once per day, something extraordinary happened. I had a 6-hour stretch in the middle of the day when I didn't think about needing to pee one single time. Instead, I just went about my day like I used to. And then suddenly, I looked at my phone and could hardly believe so much time had passed. If you don't have prostate issues, maybe that doesn't seem like a big deal. But for me, this was absolutely mind-blowing. And what was even more amazing was that then, when I did go to pee, it was instant. I just walked up to the toilet, took a great leak, finished, and felt satisfied. Even better. After that bathroom trip, it was another 4 hours before I needed to go again. And when I did feel the need to pee the next time, it wasn't at all urgent or uncomfortable. I just walked up to the bathroom and went. Like I said, if you don't have prostate problems, it's hard to understand the significance. But as someone whose prostate had nearly ruined his life, Realizing this was happening, I damn near cried. And that night, I slept like a baby too. No feeling like I had to go before I fell asleep. No waking up multiple times in the middle of the night or hovering over the toilet praying to the yellow gods. I slept 8 hours, woke up feeling more clear-headed and energized than I had in months. And then I had this great, powerful pee, and it was instant, easy, and ridiculously satisfying. When I met with Jacques the next day, 1 week after I began using those tablets, and told him about what was happening, he was thrilled. And sure enough, when my blood test came back a few days later, we found that the Candida count was already 48% lower than before, which was freaking awesome, though Jacques told me to make sure I kept using the tablets, since we wanted the Candida to be completely destroyed. So that's what I did. And by the middle of the 3rd week, the blood test showed that the Candida levels were 81% lower. And in the months that followed, those levels kept going lower and lower until before I knew it, the results of my Candida test said under 1%. I was ecstatic. It felt so good to know that I was flushing my whole body of this dangerous fungal mold. Because let's be honest, knowing that this stuff is crawling around inside your body is so freaking gross. But what was even better was the unspeakable relief that comes from knowing your prostate problems are over. Imagine it. No more waking up in the middle of the night. No more looking around for a bathroom or needing to go when you're out with your family or friends. Instead, just a few normal bathroom trips each day, then a powerful rocket stream every time you do hit the john. And I gotta tell you, it's pretty amazing how a fixed prostate revitalizes your sex life too. I don't know if it was the Vinitrox, the Moarapuama, or just the fact that my prostate was no longer swollen. All I know is that I started getting the most powerful erections I'd ever had in my life, and my wife Susie loved it. She kept saying playfully that I was back, and she couldn't keep her hands off. And it wasn't long before other guys were commenting about the new me either, saying I seemed more confident, more happy, that I looked younger and my skin was healthier, that I seemed sharper. They wanted to know why. And when I told them that it was because I'd finally found a way to fix my prostate, I was really surprised at how most every single one of them would tell me in a low whisper that they were having problems going too, and then asking if I could share this secret with them. Of course, I said yeah, and sure enough, every single guy I gave these prostate shrinking candies to would end up calling, texting, or emailing me a couple weeks later, saying that this stuff was a miracle, like Dave, who's in Texas and says,
"When a friend of mine told me I could eat some candy every day and all my prostate problems would be gone, I thought he was nuts. The only reason I even tried it was because I had exhausted every other option and I was so tired of getting up to go pee during the night. But man, I am glad I did. It's only been a few weeks and I'm totally back to normal. No more frequent trips to the bathroom, no more squirming, and I'm sleeping all night long. Thank you."
I was weeks away from going under the knife for my prostate. I was terrified. I had read all about the complications. And the idea of somebody slicing and dicing up my prostate or sticking a wire up my penis had made me physically nauseous. So I decided to try some of these candies as a last resort. Holy shit, did they work? Yeah.
I'm a long-haul trucker, and stopping to pee every hour was costing me time and money. It also made me hate my job. The only thing worse than constantly thinking about how bad you gotta pee is not being able to pee once you finally do pull over. Then I decided to try out your candy. It's been 2 months now, and my prostate has never felt better.
Those are just a few of the countless stories I started getting from guys across the country each week, while some of them even reported back that they loved the sweet minty flavor and how it made it super easy to stick to, and then asking if I had more of this prostate shrinking candy for themselves and their friends. We went viral, and before long, Jacques and I were working round the clock, trying to produce enough of these chewable candies for the guys who were asking for them. Eventually, we realized that the only way we could truly get what we created into the hands of all the men who needed it was to go all in. So that's what we did. We found a state-of-the-art US manufacturing facility that could manufacture these chewables at the exact dosages and at the exact quality that we needed. We signed contracts with suppliers of each of the ingredients, making sure we were only using pharmaceutical grade level quality compounds. And right now, I want to give you the opportunity to try this breakthrough for yourself by introducing you to FlowForce Max, a completely natural and 100% effective way to fix your prostate problems for good by destroying the fungus that's colonizing your urinary tract right now and allowing you to once again enjoy a regular, powerful, and steady flow each time you go to the bathroom, while eliminating the frequent bathroom trips that are horribly inconvenient during the day and that wreck your sleep at night. With this breakthrough formula, we've portioned each of the antifungal ingredients that Dr. Jacques shared with me into a perfectly dosed, chewable candy. And all it takes is 1 dose per day to begin flushing Candida from your kidneys, bladder, and prostate. So there's no more swelling, no more blockage, and no more wasted time trying to force yourself to pee. And not only is every single bottle manufactured in a state-of-the-art, FDA-compliant facility right here in the US, but every single ingredient is triple tested by an independent third-party laboratory to ensure purity and excellence. Within a few days of using this prostate shrinking candy, you'll begin to notice a subtle but unmistakable difference. You'll be making fewer trips to the bathroom. The need to go will feel less urgent. Your flow will be more powerful with less effort. And the longer you take your 1 chewable candy per day, the better those results will be. After 3 months, I guarantee you'll be sleeping through the night. Your ED will be vanishing. You'll find yourself getting lost in the activities you're doing for hours without even thinking about needing to pee. And after 6 months, your whole life will be back to normal, just peeing a few times throughout the day. And when you do, you'll have the most powerful and steady stream. It will come out effortlessly and easily. You'll find that not only is your sex life better, but that you're getting more and more powerful and longer lasting erections that you've had since you were a teenager. And you'll feel more energy from head to toe as your entire body has become cleansed of Candida. That's what's in store for you. And I'm so excited for you to experience this for yourself. And given this, it's really no wonder that since we released these prostate shrinking candies to the public, it's been hard to keep them in stock. In only 4 months, we've sold well over 119,000 bottles, and that number is climbing every day. People all over the USA who've been suffering from embarrassing, painful, sleep-destroying prostate problems finally have an all-natural solution that works. And they're telling their friends and family too. But with such high demand, it's only a matter of time before we run out. And since our premium, natural ingredients come from the most pristine sources in the world, restocking will take us a long time. That's why it's crucial that you place your order for as much of this prostate shrinking candy as possible right now. The last thing we want is for you to interrupt your treatment before the Candida has been completely destroyed. Because in that case, reinfection is not only possible, but likely to come back with a vengeance. And you'll immediately go back to the way things were before, as your prostate swells back up. You'll feel this pressure coming from your bladder and frequently feel like you need to pee, while your sleep once again is disrupted. You'll reverse all the good you've done for your body and set yourself back months or even years. In fact, from what we've seen and what our customers tell us, the best results are seen when someone uses this prostate shrinking candy for at least 6 months. That not only rids your entire urinary tract of Candida, but makes sure this moldy fungus never grows back, and that you're protected from any new buildups. Don't let fungus win. Make sure to secure your supply today and say goodbye to the discomfort and embarrassment of a swollen prostate right now. We've gone to great lengths to ensure that this prostate shrinking candy is affordable to every American who needs it. After handpicking the best ingredients, negotiating production, and keeping costs low, I'm proud to offer you this game-changing formula at the lowest possible price. You'll never have to spend your hard-earned money on dangerous drugs or ineffective supplements that do nothing to address a moldy prostate. And you'll never have to wrestle with the terrifying decision to go under the knife for a minor surgery that could leave you ejaculating backwards, or even unable to ever get hard again. This prostate shrinking candy is only available on this website, and only while supplies last. We never want to go too big with this solution that produces it on an industrial scale, because we know that would simply lower the quality. We will only make as much as we can keep an eye on. So, if you see these prostate cleansing candies anywhere other than this website, know that you are not getting the real deal. We will never sell on Amazon, eBay, or Etsy because we will simply never be able to ensure proper quality control if we go that big. This prostate shrinking candy can protect you now and for years to come. You can say goodbye to the expensive, side effect-filled alternatives that provide only minor relief, if any at all. Instead, you can enjoy real and lasting protection against Candida and other dangerous types of fungus, while freeing yourself from the constant urges to go and frustrating bathroom trips where it feels like you're fighting a war just to get a few drops out. Watch as your days become carefree and easy again, how there's no more making excuses or sneaking off to the toilet and hoping no one notices. Experience what it feels like to get night after night of deep, restful, uninterrupted sleep, and how your sex life comes roaring back to life because your prostate problems are gone forever and you once again feel like your old self. When you invest in this prostate shrinking candy today, you'll pay less than you would for a 15-minute doctor's visit, excruciating diagnostic procedures, painful surgery, and prescription drugs. Yet unlike any of those approaches, these chewable tablets hold what I believe to be the only real chance of restoring your prostate back to normal. And when you consider the fact that there's only one facility in the world that meets our quality control expectation, that each jar contains the purest and most potent form of these ingredients on the planet, and the fact that more and more people keep buying this breakthrough product, including guys who don't even have prostate issues, but who have that one buddy who always needs to go take a leak while they're out on the golf course, and women who are buying it for their husbands, so their husbands can stop always complaining about their damn prostate, and so that these women can finally enjoy a passionate sex life again. Today's special low price is a bargain if you ask me. Because this is not about making money. This is about fixing the broken prostates of not just myself, but all the other people such as yourself who are tormented by the endless bathroom trips and countless wasted minutes spent trying to simply pee. That is why I have negotiated hard to bring you this solution for as little as $1.50 a day. That's right, for our most discounted package, you will spend less than $2 a day to say goodbye to your prostate problems for good. But this special discounted package is only available today on this webpage and only while supplies last. It's the deepest discount we've ever offered, and we're only doing it because we know what a difference this will make in your life. For 6 bottles of this prostate shrinking candy, you will invest only $49 per bottle, and this is the right quantity to finally clear out fungus from your prostate and the rest of your urinary tract and prevent it from ever coming back, so that your prostate problems are gone forever and don't come back in a few weeks or months. And if you choose your package right now, you will risk absolutely nothing, because we want you to be certain that this prostate shrinking candy is right for you. We offer every single person a 60-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. That means you have a full 60 days to test drive this prostate shrinking candy for yourself. I know you'll be thrilled with the results. But if for any reason you're not 100% satisfied with your order, simply contact our friendly support staff, send back all the bottles, even if they're empty, and they'll issue a refund. You know what? If you buy our 6-bottle package and your prostate goes back to normal much quicker, then feel free to send us back the bottles you haven't used and you'll get your money back for every single one of them. Even though, if I were you, I'd want to keep taking these candy chews every day as an insurance policy against Candida ever coming back. Or share them with friends and family. That is how confident we are that this solution can do wonders, though. To put it simply, if for any reason you are not thrilled with our solution, you pay nothing. If your prostate shrinks quickly and you still have some unused bottles left, we will even give you back the money for them. That's just how I believe business should be done. Either you love our product or you don't pay a dime. What could be simpler than that? And because you're covered by our 60-day, no hassle, money-back guarantee, why not take advantage of our 6-month highly discounted package? It really is the smartest option. I mean, you're protected either way. If you love this prostate shrinking candy, you're locked into our lowest rate of just $49 per jar, saving more than anybody else. And if this breakthrough doesn't work for you, then you simply ask for a refund and lose nothing. No matter what happens, you truly only have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Plus, when you pick the best amount of our prostate shrinking candy, I'm also going to add 2 bonus books worth $109 absolutely free. The first is the 5-day Kidney Home Detox, and it's a simple, step-by-step guide for cleansing your kidneys from the comfort of your own home. I'm including this book because your kidneys really are your body's natural filters. And while the prostate shrinking candy you're getting today absolutely will rid them of fungal molds like Candida, there are always going to be other bacteria, germs, and pathogens running through these vital organs. And the better protected they are, the healthier you'll be. Plus, in addition to this step-by-step guide for cleansing your kidneys, you'll also discover the dark and stormy cocktail that can help alkalize your kidneys while creating an environment where disease-carrying germs and bacteria can't thrive. The 5 dangerous health foods that can wreck your kidney health. Eating these could leave you feeling tired and sick without you realizing it. Plus, the 3 magic vitamins that can reduce your risk of ever getting an excruciating kidney stone or embarrassing UTI by over 97%. You'll find all that and more inside this ebook, and it's yours free when you order the discounted 3 or 6 month package. And then the second book I'll be giving you today, absolutely free, is called On-Demand Erections in 7 Days. It's the definitive guide to increasing blood flow, stamina, and libido while enjoying rock-hard erections fast. And inside, you'll discover the little-known shepherd's herb that only cost a few pennies, but the scientists say is like Viagra on steroids, the galactic G-spot technique that gives any women otherworld orgasms. It was first inspired by the strange behavior of astronauts in space. The vanilla and spice super tonic that increases stamina in the bedroom so you can have sex again and again in a single night. Both guides are yours free when you buy the 3-pack or 6-pack on sale, and you'll get access to them immediately. But that's not all. With any package that you choose, you'll also get free shipping, which is an additional savings of $9.95. But please, keep in mind that both the special multi-bottle discount and the free shipping are limited. When we run out of this prostate shrinking candy, it could take us months to make a new batch. So, choose the 6-bottle package or any other package below this video right now to secure your order. This is truly one of the smartest and most important investments you'll ever make to free yourself from the embarrassment and frustration of a swollen prostate. So given everything you've just been told, I am sure you must be really excited to try this prostate shrinking candy for yourself. All you have to do to claim your discount is simply click the button below now to order the 6-month supply, or whichever amount makes the most sense to you. After you've selected your package, you'll then be taken to our secure order page where you can fill out your shipping and payment information. We use the same professional-grade 256-bit encryption technology as places like Amazon, eBay, and Walmart, so you know your information is safe with us. Once you hit enter, you'll land on our confirmation page, which will carefully explain exactly what you can expect with your order. Now, I must warn you, sometimes we experience temporary out-of-stocks. Obviously, we do our best to avoid this, but that's just the simple reality of trying to get a product like this out to so many people, placing big orders all at once. You don't have to worry though, because as long as you're watching this video right now and don't see any out-of-stock icon popping up anywhere, then we still have bottles of this prostate shrinking candy left in stock. But I really wanted to make this note for you, because I can't say for sure when we might run out of stock next, and I don't ever want you to be in that unfortunate situation where you fall in love with this breakthrough, only to come back to this page a month later to find that it's completely sold out. So that's just one last reason why our 6-month option is our most popular, because not only will you get the full benefit of this prostate shrinking candy, but you also have plenty of time to place a follow-up order if you choose to. So just go ahead and order the 6-month supply, or whatever makes the most sense to you. Now we're at the point where it's time to make a decision. You've already seen all the science behind this breakthrough solution and heard the remarkable stories of people like you who have truly transformed their lives in just seconds a day. I stand fully behind this product, and I've done everything I can do to make ordering today one of the easiest, most logical decisions you've ever made. No matter which size order you place, you're 100% protected by our 60 days unconditional money-back guarantee. Ultimately though, it's up to you to make a decision. You're the only one who can take that first step in the direction of a radically new life. If for any reason you still feel a little on the fence, then I have to ask that you please don't let fear or doubt hold you back, because you're 100% safe and protected. And when you really think about it, what's the alternative? I can only imagine all of the failed solutions you've tried in the past that left you feeling frustrated, anxious, and hopeless. I know, because I am sure I've tried every single one of them myself. But now you have something completely different right in front of you. A simple, morning candy chew hack that allows you to permanently end your prostate issues, so that you never again deal with the humiliating or frustrating urges to go at the worst time, or the uncomfortable feeling like there's still more pee inside you, but it just won't come out. And instead, You can enjoy a steady, powerful stream on demand and on a normal schedule, where you don't even have to think about needing to go for most of the day, and where you sleep soundly through the night, then wake up each morning feeling energized, rested, and ready to conquer the world. You could leave this page right now after hearing everything I've shared. But what will change? You'll just end up back on that hamster wheel of disappointments, frustrated, exhausted, and embarrassed, feeling stressed out every time you're in public, tired of being hit with the urgent need to go yet again, and the mental gymnastics that come from debating which is worse, trying to hold it or explaining to everyone why it is you're making yet another trip to the bathroom, not to mention the fear of what Candida fungus could be doing to the rest of your body. Go down that road, and what will be waiting for you besides endless days of discomfort and embarrassment, or even violent surgeries where a surgeon is going to slice and dice and put wires through your most sacred man parts, hopefully not making an oopsie that leaves you permanently impotent as they do it. You and I both know that's no way to live. This is why I'm now reaching out my hand to offer you a way out. You don't even have to say yes. All you have to do is say maybe. You could just be moments away from feeling like you've got a new lease on life, enjoying an active, healthy lifestyle without worry, fret, or fear, and living each day feeling like you're in control. All of that and more could be on just the other side of this page. And while whatever you decide is entirely up to you, I truly do hope you make the right choice and cleanse your body of this moldy fungus right now, shrinking your prostate as you do it, and reclaiming your life. All you have to do to get started is just choose your package from below right now, and I'll see you on the other side to help you continue your journey. Regardless of your choice, I want to thank you personally for taking the time to watch this presentation. I wish you all the health and happiness in the world. Still there? Look, I know I just covered a lot, so let me go ahead and answer some of the most common questions I get. Question 1, how does this prostate shrinking candy work again? This formula is loaded with natural pharmaceutical grade compounds that have been proven in countless studies to destroy over 40 strains of Candida. Then we added proven prostate shrinking ingredients on top of that, and we put in vine nitrox so that the ingredients could get delivered to your urinary tract fast. That way, you get rapid relief. Question number 2, who should take these prostate shrinking candies? Well, if you had asked me that question 10 years ago, I would have said just people who were suffering from a swollen prostate. Now though, with all the new research showing that nearly all of us have been exposed to Candida, and that the risk is growing exponentially in the US, my suggestion is that pretty much everyone should take this as a daily defense. Question 3, what happens after I click the button below? Once you choose your package below, you'll go to our 100% secure checkout page. Then just enter your payment information and place your order. And don't worry, there's no automatic billing or anything like that. After that, you'll receive your order of these prostate shrinking candies in the next 5 to 7 business days in a discreet package. What means you're less than a week away from fixing your prostate while protecting yourself from more than 40 strains of the dangerous fungal mold known as Candida. Question 4, what if it doesn't work for me? That's easy. Remember, this prostate shrinking breakthrough comes with a 100% money back guarantee. That means you order these prostate shrinking candies today, then have a full 60 days to decide if it's right for you. If you're like the thousands of other men and women who have used this prostate shrinking candy already, then you will be thrilled with the results. But if for any reason you're not, simply call or email our customer service team and we'll refund your payment. Question 5, how long will this prostate shrinking breakthrough be available? That's a tough one. My goal is to make a huge impact by helping as many folks as possible to cleanse their body of Candida and restore their prostates to pristine health and performance in the process. But because Big Pharma isn't too happy with me and my breakthrough, it's uncertain how much longer these prostate shrinking candies will be available. Plus, with all the issues our world is facing right now, the economy isn't what it used to be. Supply chains are affected and ingredients are a little harder to come by. That's why it's important you get this prostate shrinking breakthrough today, especially since it comes with a 60-day, 100% money-back guarantee, which means there's a zero risk to you. It's also why you should really stock up. Question 6. All right, I want to try this prostate shrinking candy today. Now what? That's the easy part. Just click one of the buttons below and choose your package. Remember, you can get started and save over 70% by choosing our most popular 6-jar package. Just fill out your details on the next page to complete your order. And these prostate shrinking candies will be in your hands within the next 5 to 7 business days. Plus, there's no risk because of my ironclad 60-day guarantee. This presentation is now ending, and I want to thank you for sticking with me all the way through until the end. Go ahead and choose your package now. Use this prostate shrinking candy as directed for at least 30 days, then reach out and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.